as a result of sulfur dioxide from coal-burning power plants. Then go look at what George H.W. Bush did about it, which is he created a cap-and-trade system based on advice he got from 2 PhD students of a professor at the Goldman School of Public Policy, which is right across the street and where I happen to work, based purely on economic theory. It works. They ain't no more acid rain. So these things work, and we know they work, and we know why they work. Sorry, that was supposed to be here, and this is supposed to be, so that was all supposed to be what happens when the non-rationality assumptions fail. Now, let me erase all this, and we'll talk about what happens when the rationality assumption fails. Okay? So, let's see. I have to do this a little bit quickly so we have time to go over the syllabus. Okay? Suppose you have an internality. Okay? An externality is when there's a deviation between your expressed willingness to pay and social marginal benefit caused by an external cost or benefit. Internality is when the true value to you as an individual is not represented by your willingness to pay. So we could, for example, say this is expressed willingness to pay, but we might observe, for example, remember we had sort of D20 down here, we might observe D80 instead of sort of the true value to people, the true willingness to pay curve. Sorry, I don't want to call that willingness to pay. What I want to call this is sort of some true rational marginal benefit, right? This is how much benefit you actually get from chocolate, but your willingness to pay might be expressed as something higher or lower. And we would, again, like let's say everybody in America was pricing chocolate too low because of some weird anchoring effect. This would be the market outcome, right? And we'd be consuming too little chocolate. Or if there was some other deviation, some other anchoring process that was causing us to value it too much, right? Then we'd be consuming too much chocolate, okay? And we would have a market failure, okay? This is what's called a behavioral market failure. And the claim that I want to make, the framework that I want to establish for the rest of the semester is this. If you are on board with the basic project of building mathematical models with which to represent consumer and producer behavior in the allocation of society's resources, analyzing failures of the perfectly competitive market model that arise because of the failures of the non-rationality assumptions is no more legitimate than analyzing market failures caused by failure of the consumer rationality assumption. And you don't get to say, right, on any kind of philosophical grounds, that correcting market failures because of imperfect competition or imperfect information or imperfect or externalities is somehow more legitimate than correcting market failures that are caused by the failure of rationality. Okay? So here is what Dan Ariely had to say about this topic in his book, in the chapter in which he presents the results that I showed you earlier. He says this: if we can't rely on the market forces of supply and demand to set optimal market prices, and we can't count on free market mechanisms to help us maximize our utility, then we may need to look elsewhere. That is to say, not exclusively to markets. If you accept the premise that market forces and free markets will not always regulate the market for the best, then you may find yourself among those who believe that the government, we hope a reasonable and thoughtful government, must play a larger role in regulating some market activities, even if this limits free enterprise. Yes, a free market based on supply, demand, and no friction would be the ideal if we were truly rational. Yet when we are not rational, but irrational, policies should take this important factor into account, in the same way that policy takes into account things like failure of perfect competition, failure of perfect information, failure of the assumption of no externalities. That doesn't mean that government should intervene. It means there is a legitimate a priori reason to consider government intervention. Okay? That's the driving policy framework of this class. Okay? There's also this theoretical framework about the relationship between positive and normative economics, and we'll be focusing on all of that throughout the semester. Okay? Just to convince you that I'm not just talking about your Social Security card and how it affects Belgian chocolate prices, let me tell you some of the things that are actually on the table. Procrastination and self-control problems. We will look carefully at evidence that people pay for gym memberships which they do not then use. Okay? Don't do this. You probably already do. And then they procrastinate canceling their membership after they demonstrated that they won't use it. Right? So then we might think that the demand curve for gym memberships is too high, above what people actually get out of it, the value, their true value, their rational value. Then there's the issue of excessive discounting of future costs and benefits. How much are you saving for your retirement right now? Whatever the answer is, it's the wrong answer. You should be saving more. That's not exactly true, but I'll tell you what, if you get to 30 and you're not saving for your retirement, which was true for me, you're doing the wrong thing. And it's probably because you're not thinking about the future appropriately in the ways that normative economic models would suggest you should, and this is pervasive throughout the population. Things like this happen. People don't take their medication even if it might save their lives, and even if it really, really is definitely going to save your life, right? You have HIV, if you don't take your meds, you can be pretty sure you're going to die of something related to AIDS. And if you do, you will be virus-free. This has been demonstrated now. If you take your ARTs religiously, rigorously, you can actually get your viral load down to the point where you're not even infectious. And yet, if you look at the percentage of HIV, people living with HIV who actually take their ARTs according to the regimen prescribed, it's shockingly low. Okay? And we think that this is not rational, and it's a huge problem. So we might think that the demand curve for those meds is too low, or for adherence to those meds. Okay? People don't save enough for retirement. Because we're not thinking about retirement, we're thinking about that new Suzuki Bergman AN400 that I just bought a few months ago, and then somebody tipped over, and now it's destroyed. So we might think that the demand for future consumption, retirement income, is too low. Okay? And then there are other things. This thing that is referred to as the hot cold empathy gap. People buy more food when they're hungry. Okay? That doesn't make much sense. You're buying food for the whole week. Shouldn't matter how hungry you are when you go into the store, but it does. People tend to think that they'll use condoms when they're aroused, even though in many cases they won't. So this might suggest that the demand curve for, let's say, birth control pills, which is a way of committing yourself to future sanity, right, might be too low. These things are pervasive, and they're important. And we'll spend the rest of the semester looking at these kinds of examples. Okay? So, summary of where we're going this semester. Economic models are built using the building blocks of assumptions. We've already seen some of that in review. They are used for predictive purposes and for normative evaluation purposes, and they provide insight into what is good or bad for society and what government should or shouldn't do about it. Assumptions, this is just an incontrovertible fact about the scientific process. Assumptions are made to be questioned. If you don't question your assumptions, you do not have a legitimate claim to be an intelligent scholar. If our assumptions fail in systematic and predictable ways that we can observe and prove, our models will give us the wrong answers. Period, end of sentence. Better assumptions, that is to say, in this case, psychologically more realistic assumptions, should provide us with better answers. And so what behavioral economics is about is taking psychological realism, inserting it into our mathematical models in order to make those models fit reality better. And what we're going to see is that this will consistently improve the predictive power of our models, but it will wreak havoc. It will create a lot of confusion with respect to the normative, valuative, what's good for society uses of our models. Okay. So I'm going to talk about that next time we meet. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to ask the GSIs. Can you guys come jogging up here real quick to run through the crowd passing out the syllabus? Where are you guys? There's Waldo, there's Parso, and oh, that's right. We only have two. So there's some for you. You can do that. So, some for you. Oops. Some for you. Actually, you know what? You do this. I'm just going to start talking. Okay, I'm going to start talking about the syllabus before it's completely handed out. So let me get your attention. Please let me hold your attention. Please don't get distracted. Okay, so parts of this I'm just going to read. The course description. The field of psych and econ, which we call behavioral economics, is a comprehensive attempt to take the methodology of economic theory beyond the standard assumptions of rationality and self-interest. The goal is to develop models that more accurately describe and predict economic phenomena. The guiding principle is to select modeling assumptions on the basis of psychological realism rather than mathematical or normative convenience. This course is an introduction to the field. The goals of the course are to explore more thoroughly the assumptions, implications, and failures of several fundamental standard economic models and to develop alternative behavioral models based on findings from psychology. Okay? Actually, my secret goal, which I'll reveal right at the beginning, is that what I really want is for you to come away understanding the standard rational model better. And in the process, you'll see how economists use models, what the sort of philosophical underpinnings of them are, and you'll also see a healthy dose of the ways in which they fail. Okay. The syllabus. This may seem a little bit goofy, but this is important. This syllabus is a contract. You'll notice that each part of the syllabus has a little place where you put your initials. And so my expectation and your responsibilities are laid out in detail in the syllabus. Please read it thoroughly. Initial each section to acknowledge that you have read and understood it. Sign it at the bottom and submit it to your GSI no later than the second section meeting of the semester. It says of the first week, but that's obviously wrong because there's only one per week. Second section meeting of your section of the semester. Print out a copy of this, initial everything, sign it, turn it into your GSI. Okay. The prerequisite for this course, and a number of you emailed me about this already, the prerequisite is either Economics 100A, Intermediate Microeconomic Analysis, or 101A, or their equivalent, okay? I strongly discourage you from taking this class if you do not satisfy the prerequisites, that prerequisite, okay? The whole class is predicated on you having a basic understanding of rational economic theory, and you will almost certainly suffer if you take this class without that understanding. I'm not in a position to prevent you, but if you don't meet the prerequisite and you seriously insist on taking the class, please come and talk to me first. All right, where am I? Not moving forward. Okay, this is just some basics. Enrollment, you're all used to this game. You have to go to the first section, get your name on, the GSI will take roll. If you do not show up for the first section, if you do not show up for section before next Thursday, you'll be summarily dropped from the class. That's not up to me. That's just a requirement of the department. If you have any questions about enrollment, you will have to approach the head GSI, whose name is Jennifer Kwan. Weirdly enough, though I hold an exalted position in the institution, I have zero control over enrollment, and the same is true of your GSIs. There is literally nothing we can do for you. So contact the head GSI. My office hours, 9:45 to 11:45 on Thursdays. My office is in the Goldman School, GSPP, which most of you probably never been to. You find it on the campus map. It's on the corner of Leroy and Hearst, right across from Soda Hall, which is the building that looks like a public bathroom turned inside out. And it's kitty corner from the place where people were recently protesting cutting down 5 redwoods. So what are my office hours about? It's about one-on-one conversations. I will meet about problem sets, but I'm not going to do group meetings about problem sets. You can bring a friend or two if you want. We can talk about other course material. We can talk about your research ideas. We can talk about your career, graduate school plans, your life, or anything else you want to talk about. I encourage you, if you have any question or thought or concern or interesting idea that you think you might be able to get useful input from me on, come to my office hours. I love to talk. Well, you can probably tell that already. Okay. If you want to do group office hours stuff on problem sets, please attend your GSI's office hours. If you can't make my office hours, let me know. I'll try to accommodate you. Okay, you've got my email. Feel free to email about anything you like. But, and now you're going to think this guy's a real jerk, but this is my basic expectation, okay? You send me an email, be professional, okay? Begin each email with Professor Ackland, use complete words, complete sentences, and complete paragraphs, okay? Which is to say, if you're sending an email from your phone, it's going to take you a little time, which is fine by me. Then I try to say, let's hold this a little loosely. Don't agonize it. Don't agonize over this standard. Just pretend that you're sending an email to a professor at a major research university. Okay, website. So we'll be using BSpace. I didn't know this, but I now know that students hate that because now you're all transitioning to B courses. I'm using BSpaces because B courses is much harder for professors, and I decided to put my time into making the course better rather than learning B courses, and I'm sorry that I didn't realize that that was going to place an annoying burden on you guys, but that's where we're at. So you have the BSpace address here. No, you're automatically enrolled in it, so you should be able to find the course on BSpace. So I'll use that for sending announcements via email. You're responsible for reading all emails carefully. Go on to make sure that BSpace is sending you daily email to an account that you read every day, and that you will get both low and high priority announcements. Okay. Yeah. So, sections. Let me very briefly introduce you to your GSIs. So, Tarso Madera is there. Stand up. Waldo Ojeda, am I pronouncing it right, is here. And Kay Dawn Powers, Kristen Dawn Powers, she prefers to go by Dawn, is not here yet, but will be here at the next lecture. You have the sections that they're teaching. You have their email addresses. Basic rule. You are free, with your GSI's consent, to attend their other section, but you may not attend the section of another GSI unless you come to me and we formally change the enrollment. Otherwise, it can create a burden on the GSIs. So, your GSIs, to a first-order approximation, know about as much about behavioral economics as I do, so treat them as a useful resource. Okay, online forum. Raise your hand if you've used Piazza in another class. Good. Okay, so we're going to use Piazza for you guys to ask and answer questions about the problem set and about exam preparation. If you are not familiar with Piazza, follow the link, enroll, sign up for it. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's going to be a lot like a lot of other things you've seen. And for sure, you will be able to figure it out faster than I can explain it to you. Because you are, by and large, under 30, and I am very much not under 30. Okay. This is the deal with Piazza, okay? If you have a question about a problem set, you can go to your GSI's office hours, you can come to my office hours, you can go to your GSI's section, or you can post your question on Piazza. Most people find this very helpful. What you should not do is to email your GSI that question. Your GSI will simply redirect you to Piazza, okay? You feel free to email me or your GSI about absolutely anything else, but if you have a question about problem set or exam review, it goes on Piazza. And if you absolutely can't get an intelligent answer on Piazza, then go to your section or office hours. Okay. Lectures. There's no textbook for this class. There are a couple of textbooks in the market. They're what they are, but they're not assigned because they're no good. there are readings, some of them are required, many of them aren't. They will not even remotely tell you what you need to know. Not even remotely. The content of this class is in this room. Attendance is extremely important, and you should come. The projector feed and my voice will be on webcast. There's a link there. You go on YouTube. But with an eight-day delay, this is to discourage you from even considering relying upon this as a substitute for attendance at lectures. I do not post my notes or slides online because I want you in the classroom. Okay, iClickers. You've all used iClickers, right? Pretty much. If you haven't, you just go to the student store and buy one, or get one online, borrow one from a friend, whatever it is. You need to have your iClicker by Tuesday, and we'll be using iClickers in every class period. You will get one participation point per lecture, and they'll count for some percentage of your grade, which is not huge but non-trivial. You earn that participation point by clicking some button on your clicker for 80% of the questions that I ask in each class, and if that's not a nice round integer, then we round down in your favor. You get 4 free passes per semester, and the reason we do that is because you might not be able to attend, your clicker might not work, something like that. I will give you the same answer every single time, which is that's one of your 4 free passes. So apportion them wisely. You need to go and get them your iClicker registered. That's all on there. It's fine to use your clicker before it's registered. We will record the points, but you have to have it registered if you want to actually get credit for those points. Okay, if you are found with somebody else's clicker in your hand, or somebody else is found with your clicker in their hand, what does it say? You will be pilloried and put onto a stake. It's considered cheating if caught. Both parties will be disciplined. I'm not going to specify what that means, but I will just go through formal channels. Please don't do it. It's not worth it. The point of this class is that if you do things the way I have suggested, you are, I want to say, likely to learn more. Okay? So don't do things just to get a grade. Do them because you'll learn. Okay? All right. Now, here's where I come off as a real jerk. Multitasking. There is no such thing as multitasking. What we call multitasking is doing 2 things badly at the same time. Okay? And there's actually quite a lot of research to show that only about 2% of the population can actually multitask effectively. So don't do it. To help you to not multitask, I have the following rules. And I'm pretty strict about it. No laptops. Unless it's required by DSP, or you happen to be Tarso Madeira, you don't get to have a laptop open in this room. Okay? Or a tablet or its equivalent. So that's just what it is. And again, there's a lot of research on laptops in the classroom, and they are unambiguously shown to be not good pedagogy. So no laptops, no texting, just leave your smartphone in your pocket. If you need to know the time, I'm happy to tell you. No outside work. Right? If you've got a deadline in another class, take the hit, go do it. Don't do it here. And talking, I say no talking. Now, you're going to have to self-regulate on this a little bit, because what I actually mean is this. If you want to turn to your neighbor and say, what did he just say? Or, what's delta? What's beta hat? In a whisper, brief, and leave it at that. Okay. And then what I say here is, I will enforce these rules with mild public embarrassment. Okay? I'll call you out gently in a sort of dorky, avuncular way, and it'll make you want to stop. But it won't hurt your feelings. Okay. Readings. Sorry we're running out of time. I'll just say one thing about the readings. The readings are all online on VSpace. The only thing you need to know about the readings is that I have this little system of margin notation. If there's a solid line in the margin, it means this part's not assigned. If there's a dashed line in the margin, it means this part is assigned, but it's kind of optional. You might or might not understand it. A solid line is usually for stuff that you have very little chance of understanding because it's too advanced. These are all published journal articles. Okay. Exams. I don't want to hold you, so I'm going to have to go over that. But before you go, just going to skip to the honor code. You need to read the section about exams. It's extremely important, and you need to read the section about grading. But I want you to hear what I have to say about the honor code. The honor code is a new innovation brought to us by the Associated Students of the University of California, and it says this. The student community at UC Berkeley has adopted the following honor code. Quote, as a member of the UC Berkeley community, I act with honesty, integrity, and respect for others. The hope and expectation is that you will adhere to this code. Okay? You may or you may not, and that is your business. I personally don't put a lot of stock in this honor code, so I want to drive a point home to you. Okay? It's very easy in life to lose sight of what honesty, integrity, and respect for others really means. So here's a practical suggestion. If even a small voice within you says, I would not want my fellow students, my parents, or my professor to know about this, just don't do it. Okay? The cost that you will impose on yourself in terms of losing honor, losing your own self-respect, and possible consequences is just never worth it. Okay? So that is all. I apologize for the extra 30 seconds of your time I took, and I hope to see all of you on Tuesday.